Good morning, Laguna Woods. This is Inspiration for Today, and I'm so glad you tuned in. My name is Rick Bradford. I'm the pastor at Saddleback Church, Laguna Woods, and we're in the midst of a 3-day story. Let me reset it just a little bit. And the year is 1979. It's one of the amazing days of my life. We're taking Bibles and other Christian materials into the most harsh dictatorship that exists, communist dictatorship that existed at that time. And I was into Romania. Yesterday, I told the story of crossing the border and even finding the hotel in a city called Timișoara. And we're doing this, by the way, because our verse that we're using all 3 days is from 1 Chronicles 16, and it says, "Remember the wonders He, God, has done and His miracles." That's what we're doing. So that when hard times come or whatever, we can think back. And I hope you have memories too. I hope you have answered prayer. So that you can look back and say, God is faithful and He answers prayer. This day is the day I always go back to if I ever have any doubts about the Lord and what He does in my life and will He answer. If you didn't see it yesterday, go back and look at it. We're in the hotel, and we had come all the way. We had done the training in Vienna. We'd gotten through the customs and the border, and now it was Saturday. Well, actually, it was now Sunday morning. We'd come all this way to find a church out in a village. And that was going to be our contact person. We knew we had to get back to the train that morning. And we knew we had to go about 10 stops on that train and get off to meet the pastor and be at his church service on that Sunday morning and give him all the materials that God had graciously allowed us to bring in. So we set our alarm, as you would have done, for very, very early that morning. And we get up and we realize that there's no electricity. There's no electricity because there's only about 2 hours of electricity in a town of about 1 million that Timișoara was. They only had enough to have it on for 2 hours a day. And so we got up and we're have our flashlights going, and Joe goes in the bathroom and he's shaving. And I get the bright idea. I actually see light from under the door. And I realize maybe in the hallway they have some sort of generator or some reason that there is light in the hallway. So I got the idea, I think I'll open the door and then we'll have light in the bedroom. Well, I went to the door and I turned that handle and nothing happened. It would not open. And it's spinning. And I can't, there's nothing. I can't get out of the room. I can't open the door. Now we're on about the 3rd floor and we're not jumping either. How do we get out of here? So I knocked on the bathroom door and I said, Joe, we've got one little problem here. And literally I said it like that. I'm always joking around a little bit. But Joe, we can't get out. And he says, what do you mean? I said, the door spins. There's no way. And he tries it. Nothing. We could not open that door, period. And I said, Joe, now we had been told not to pray in our room because you figure it's going to be mic'd or, where they listen in on us. And so we were told not to do that. But I said, Joe, we have to. So we bowed for prayer that morning. I'll never forget it. Very short prayer. And we said, Lord, you say you open doors. We need you to open this door. Literally, we got up from that prayer, went out, and we opened it. It opened immediately. And Lord, did you just do this to build our faith or why? But it was amazing. So we got out, we got to the train, and to our shock, in a very early train, the train was packed full of people. Where did all these people come from? No one else was even up, in the city, but the train is full of people. Well, we go and we go the 10 stops out, and we get to this village out in town, and maybe 50 miles away. And when the train stopped, an amazing thing happened. Everyone on that train got off. And they not only got off, they're running. And I said, Joe, what's going on? Should we be running? I mean, everybody's running. And, well, neither he nor I are real runners. Uh, so we did not run. But we started looking, and we had memorized, of course, where that church was and so on. And the amazing thing is, when we finally found the church, it took us about 20 minutes. All those people from the train were at the church. You see, what had happened is Nicolae Ceausescu, the terrible dictator of the time, had shut down churches all across the country. This was one that was allowed to be open, and people had gathered here from all over. So not only was probably, I would say, it would have sat 400, maybe 300, but they'd taken out all the chairs, so everybody's standing. We figured that there were probably 1,000 people in that church. And out in all the courtyards, they're trying to listen in through the windows. And we thought, this is absolutely amazing. We take church and go worship so for granted in America, and these people who don't have the chance, they value it so much. And it just boggled our minds. Well, we weren't allowed, believe it or not, to talk to any of those people. There's absolutely, the KGB are in here, and if you talk to anyone, on Monday they will be taken to jail for questioning, not necessarily prison. But I thought, wow, so we didn't get to talk to anybody. We're ushered to the front of the church and the service begins. And it was amazing. I wish you could have been there. I'll never forget it in my life. The singing, the joy of these people that basically don't have freedom of religion anymore. And they were there to worship. Now, partway through the message, they said, now, you're going to be able to bring greetings. You can't preach, that's against the law, but you can bring greetings, and we don't care how long you bring greetings. So they're basically saying, if you want to preach, you preach, because our people are still polite, and they'll even the police will allow you to do that. Well, I had known that was coming, so I had prepared a message that was based on the end of Matthew 28, which says, Jesus says, lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. And that was going to be that, hey, you're in Romania, we're in California, but Jesus is with us both, and we're together. That was my message. So the pastor leans over to me and he says, well, what's the verse you're going to bring greetings on? And I said, well, that verse, Matthew, the end of Matthew. And he took his Bible and he looks it up. He says, he was like speechless. But he says, I can't believe this. That is the exact verse that the choir is singing right now. And I go, no way. There's thousands of verses in the Bible. And they're singing the verse I'm going to speak on? Friends, that was no coincidence. I know people like to say, when God answers prayer or whatever, it's just coincidence. This was not that. God had put that worship service in that small village in the middle of Romania together, and then brought me all that way, almost not getting out of my room that day, but I did. And I was able to bring that message, and it was a glorious time together. You know, when it says, remember the wonders that he has done, these are amazing wonders, and I'm so thankful they're in my life, and I'm never going to forget them. I've got a few more that I'm going to share with you tomorrow that are just as amazing. I hope you'll tune back in. But I also just hope that you'll think back in your own life. Do you have answers to prayer that you can say, Lord, you did that for me then. I'm going to believe that you'll do that for me now. Because he will. And that's why God wants us to remember what he has done, his wonders. So God bless. Have a great day. And I hope to see you back here tomorrow.